What do you call a fighter who lied to the boxing commission and turned pro at 16, just to turn around and become world champion at 18? What do you call a fighter who's competed in more than half the weight classes in the sport of boxing? The only fighter to accomplish that feat. What do you call a fighter who has 9 world titles in a boxing record 8 different weight classes? A champion who's held world titles in 4 different decades. A fighter who became the oldest welterweight world champion at the age of 40. With that type of resume, you're looking at not only an all-time legend, but a fighter some might call the GOAT. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Support the channel. And don't be afraid to donate to the Cash App. More donations means more content.
General Santos City, Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao, unbeaten. I've seen him fight before on blow by blow. He can be a little cocky, but he's a really good fighter. And
he's a very exciting fighter. I might add. Ito si Mendones is a very experienced boxer.
Yes.
Now that he's fighting an 8th round, this is going to be a big test for Pacquiao. Pacquiao, of course, is undefeated, as you mentioned. Ito po si Mendones already has fought 19 fights compared to only 7 for Pacquiao. So I'm not sure if Pacquiao is ready for someone as experienced as Mendones. Mendones is just coming out a world title fight back in August of this year.
I am a little worried about Pacquiao. He's a great fighter. He's a great young boy. He's, I think, 17 or 18 years old. But he may be overmatched in this fight. I don't know.
Well, that's what we were saying, just looking at the records. Because Mendones, as we said, looks a lot more experienced than Pacquiao, but both of them are 18 years old. So both are teenagers.
Good left by Mendones. Short, clipping right hand by Pacquiao. Mendones got caught with the left and right by Pacquiao, but he's take chances. A good flurry of punches by Pacquiao. Mendones. Oh, good combination by Pacquiao, but he's fighting a little wild against Mendones. Mendones a little more methodical.
Well, Mendones is standing his ground, and you notice that he throws punches from many different angles. The mark of an experienced fighter. Yes, he got clipped. Pacquiao clipped Mendones, and Mendones almost went down.
Pacquiao has got a good left. He's got a powerful left. He looks very, very young. He looks like a kid.
Yes.
Although he's 18 years old.
18, yes. Yeah. But much more experienced to see Mendones.
The way he moves, you can say that he's more experienced.
Yes.
But Pacquiao waiting, flicking to the right and waiting to throw that big left of his. Good left again. Pacquiao on the ropes. Good left again. Pacquiao dances out of trouble very nicely. The crowd likes that.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful left by Pacquiao.
He connected that time.
Flash on the face of Mendones.
Yes, backed up. There's another one. Pacquiao seems to be winning.
Oh, good combination. Oh, another good left by Pacquiao, but Mendones comes back. Pacquiao caught him with the left, flash on the face. Left and right by Pacquiao, but he got hurt with the right.
Mendones fighting back. Mendones moving in.
Yes, Mendones caught him with the right and hurt him, Finito.
Yes, and that's why Pacquiao is leaning against the ropes. Pacquiao on the defensive.
Yes, Mendones caught him with the right that time and hurt him.
Now, Akon has been open, and I saw referee Sylvester Abanza raise up his fist, meaning that a...
Oh! Beautiful left.
Mendones is almost out of his feet.
He's in trouble.
Mendones almost out of his feet. Robbery leg. Oh my gosh.
What a punch.
Yes, just one blow.
Punch, flash on his face.
There's blood on the nose of Mendones.
Mendones is in trouble.
Down.
He could go down. Pacquiao fighting. Yes.
Mendones could go down again.
Yes.
Pacquiao taking his punches. Mendones forced to hold on.
He's getting hammered.
Mendones doesn't know where he is.
He's almost down again.
Pacquiao being off.
Oh, Mendones is getting a bad beating. He's getting a bad beating. He's battered. He's bewildered.
Pacquiao looking for the knockout blow. He cannot seem to find the knockout blow. Mendones is hanging on. A lot of time left.
He lost his mouthpiece. Another left. Mendones is in a whole lot of trouble.
But Pacquiao cannot
Pacquiao
seem to find.
He's a bloody mess.
He's looking for a coup de grace, and he cannot find it.
It's over.
He stopped it.
It's over.
Abanza stopped the fight. And Manny Manny Pacquiao remains unbeaten. He has survived the first big test
What a
in his
fighter!
young professional career.
What a fighter!
At only 18, Pacquiao would go to Thailand to fight for his first world title against Charchai Sasakul, a 33-0 power puncher representing Thailand. The fight was furious and punches were being thrown in bunches. Pacquiao showed at a young age he wasn't scared to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. Pacquiao's furious punching power and fast hands was giving Sasakol a lot of problems, as you see here in the rare footage. Pacquiao, only 18, would take the world title from the reigning champion and go on to become one of the greatest fighters with the most belts in boxing history.
Much here, Shashakul. Just defences, a little bit of momentum, isn't he? He wants this one at close range. A little dab away with the right foot. You can see that the way that Shaver's to go down. And now he really is on the run. How can stagger you and then stun? And he knows that this is what he needs. Sustained periods of title of Chuchai Shashakul. The match. The official. There's a focus as he moves in, but there he just down favourite. And work. Yeah, I think he wants him to come. Sure, again, you fancy it this. In the champion, Chuchai Shashakul, and Manny Pacquiao just had to shake it off a bit. With the director to this. Pacquiao, he's all action in this round as he is a little bit low at times as well. Left hand Pacquiao trying to work a position to take advantage of it. He's chased few round. Pacquiao. And just got the way through a little left hook at the start of this. Shashakul standing square on and this of the Thai champion. He's hungry for it now. Not too much defence as he came. He wasn't far away from finding the mark. Decent body shot in there. But Pacquiao is walking through punches. Chin of Shashakul, and that is going to make him feel a lot better, but he needs to. He almost looks frustrated. Pacquiao. Anything as well. I think he's in a spot above it here. It looks like he's starting to puff a little bit, and down he goes. Well, the champion on home soil is battered up. He's down, and no wonder you have. And there's nothing more for Shashakul. His reign is over. The Pac-Man's has just begun. Pacquiao has come of age in Thailand. He is a world champion.
At age 18, the Pac-Man was a world champion.
Won the lineal championship of the world and then skipped up a couple weight classes.
Shashakul, his reign is over. The Pac-Man's has just begun.
Because in his early years, he was fighting to earn a living, to improve the quality of life of his family.
A new champion had risen. He was now a national hero. The people cheered his triumphant return to the Philippines, and Pacquiao began to see just how great the effect he could have.
The WBC flyweight champion, Manny Pacquiao.
See, it's not a matter of just punching. A lot of guys throw punches, but they don't always have the same kind of results that a guy like Pacquiao had. He knew when to punch.
turns out having 3 meals a day and a solid sleep and training schedule did wonders for the former street kid. Unfortunately, this worked against him, as he was no longer able to maintain the 112-pound limit. He forced himself into extreme dehydration in order to defend his belt. He was knocked out. It was another lesson learned for the 18-year-old kid. After the defeat, Manny moved into a more natural weight of 122. He immediately fought for another title belt against a fighter who had never been knocked down in his career.
Manny Pacquiao wins the WBC International Junior Featherweight crown.
The time had come for Manny to take the next step. He packed his bags and headed for America. Despite being a champion in Asia, Pacquiao couldn't find a promoter who would work with him until he met Freddie Roach.
Well, they walked in my gym about 12 years ago, him and Mr. Nazario, his manager at the time, and they asked me to work the mitts with them, and after one round on the mitts, I walked over to my people, I said, wow, this kid can fight.
Roach had trained over 25 world champion fighters.
You know, that first round really told me something. I've seen guys fast before, and I've seen guys with power before, but never someone that had both.
It wasn't long before Pacquiao would get his chance.
You know, my life, I started in nothing. We don't have a house, we don't have, sometimes we don't have food to eat. I will never forget that first time I came to Wildcard Gym and I met Freddie. Freddie was young, he was young back then. He's still young now.
You know, when Manny walked in the gym at the Wildcard, he came in with a couple of managers, and they asked me, they said that we heard that you're pretty good on the mitts, and they wanted me to do mitts with Manny.
After a couple rounds, he likes me because I punch hard. He said, I punch hard, and I like the way he do mitts, and I like the way he train.
You know, what stood out about Manny is that I never saw somebody that had power and speed. I saw guys with power before, I saw guys with speed before, but I never saw a fighter that had both like him. After one round, I went over to my people and I said, wow, can this guy fight? And he went over and said, we have a new trainer. Then, of course, the Waba fight came up.
When we heard the notice 2 weeks before the fight, he's worried a little bit because 2 weeks preparation before the fight, and it's a championship fight. But the thing is, I told him that I just finished my fight in the Philippines, so nothing to worry because I'm in shape.
I told everyone about this new guy I have. I said he's gonna be a superstar, and they're all laughing at me. All the top ranked guys say, you know, you're gonna get killed. I said, no. I said, watch this guy. He's something special. The odds were so big on the Waba, I was trying to get a bet down. Odds were like 65 to 1, and there's no bets. So I couldn't get a bet down.
The odds, although we're underdog, you know, we're very confident that we were gonna win the fight.
Manny absolutely destroyed Waba. Broke his nose in the first round. I think he knocked him out in the 4th or 5th. It was a great night because that was the first win. I was always waiting for the next, Muhammad Ali to walk through my doors. And then came Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao changed my life.
Hard left hand, straight on the button by Pacquiao, down goes Barrera. Barrera getting 3 chances to counter with the left hook, but taking a lot of leather to do it. Barrera's left eye is now starting to swell badly. Marco Antonio Barrera taking by far the worst physical beating of his career. There's no way a great fighter should have to go through 3 more minutes of this. Barrera's corner man is up on the apron. He's going to step into the ring. That's a good decision. Finally, a superstar emerges in San Antonio. And he fires the straight left hand, and there's the punching power. Juan Manuel Marquez hasn't ever seen anything like that. Who has? Hard right hand stuns Pacquiao. Pacquiao once again wants to fight fire with fire. Marquez pops him with the right again. Fire against fire. Down the stretch. Pacquiao's left, Marquez's right. Last chance to make a statement. What a battle. That's the first real knockdown of Eric Morales' career. Manny Pacquiao has knocked out the great Eric Morales. Down goes Morales on a Pacquiao right hand. And the brave heart of Morales holds up, but his legs go again. Third knockdown of the fight by Pacquiao against Morales.
He doesn't want to get up.
Morales shakes his head as if to say, I want no more. Hard right hand by Marquez. Uppercut by Marquez. Huge left hook. Buckled Pacquiao. Down goes Marquez on a straight left hand shot. Perfect shot by Pacquiao. This all started with a brilliant Pacquiao left hand, which looked for a moment as though it was going to knock Marquez down. What guts both fighters have shown tonight. One more right hand for Marquez. One more combination for Pacquiao. They trade shots down the stretch. The difference in the fight was the knockdown. He takes a straight left hand and a right hook from Pacquiao, and Pacquiao lands a brilliant uppercut up the middle. You might describe the first couple of rounds as shock and awe. He's getting hit with virtually every shot that Pacquiao throws.
This is getting embarrassing.
And he is gradually reconfiguring De La Hoya's beautiful face.
You can't handle your speed, son.
It's done. Manny Pacquiao has beaten Oscar De La Hoya. And down goes Hatton after he swings and misses with a left hook. This is the brilliance of the Filipino slugger. Look at the brilliant accuracy of Manny Pacquiao, landing with both right and left hands. Boom. Oh my gosh, what a straight left hand. That is that. What an amazing knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career. There's the speed advantage for Pacquiao. He starts to open up. Manny landed a little right hook in there and follows up by knocking Cotto down. First knockdown of the fight. Now it's Cotto whose back is against the ropes, and he fights his way off and goes down again.
And Cotto is hurt by that knockdown where he wasn't hurt by the first one.
Cotto backs into the corner. He's in big trouble now. The fight could end in a matter of seconds. Now Kenny Bayless does his duty.
We thought Manny Pacquiao was great, better than we thought.
Margarito tries to press the action. Pacquiao hits him flush with a big left hand, and then flurries and backs Margarito off again.
Margarito's saying that Pacquiao's not hurting him, but his face is telling a different story.
This is a dazzling display of boxing skill, power, everything. Unbelievable.
He's rearranging Margarito's face, and it may never look the same again. And there's a hard left by Pacquiao, and a good right hook, and another left. Hard right hand by Marquez, followed by another. Pacquiao with a right hook, Marquez with a left hook. Big left hand for Pacquiao, and that might have won him the round. What a tremendous round. The crowd's on its feet. We've got a fight in Vegas. Marquez is very conservative here in the final round of a close fight. Pacquiao only needs to throw another combination here at the end, probably to seal this round.
How will Pacquiao react when he's hit by a good, strong puncher? Because that's what Brandon Rios is.
Oh, good left hand by Pacquiao.
There have been some tremendous combinations by Pacquiao in the last 20 or 30 seconds.
Rios' face is a mess right now.
He promised to show that he was the old Manny Pacquiao and that there's no reason to suggest his career is over. He's done all of that. His first win in 2 years. He dominated every round.
Bradley told Pacquiao, "You don't have it anymore, Manny." Manny Pacquiao said, "We'll see you in the ring."
Crowd oohing and awing as Pacquiao lands a left-hand shot, throwing fluidly, landing a 1-2 there, and another left there. Good right hook by Pacquiao. Then Bradley with the right hand momentarily lifted Pacquiao off his feet. Excellent left-hand shot by Pacquiao, backed Bradley out of there.
Both landing big shots.
Gets in a left hand there. Backs Bradley up, goes to the flurry again. Hard left hand by Pacquiao. Thunderous shot there, and another hard left hand.
The big round for Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao has won this fight. And down goes Algieri on a straight left-hand shot. Hard right hand by Manny Pacquiao upstairs. Two hard body shots. Hard left hand by Pacquiao stuns Algieri. And that's going to be the second knockdown of the fight. Extended right hand by Algieri momentarily backs Pacquiao, but he keeps coming. Fires away with the left hand. Algieri goes down for the second time. Third time in the fight. Pacquiao power showing up big time here in round 6. A sensational straight left cross by Manny Pacquiao. And let's see what Algieri has left. Algieri showing guts.
Big guts.
Pacquiao in control. There's the 6th knockdown. A lot of power. A lot of Pacquiao. It is time for our main event. Eric Morales against Manny Pacquiao. That people are up all night in the Philippines to watch their national hero.
Bundok sa simuyat sa langit mong baghang may dilagang tula at awit sa
It occasionally got ugly between the Mayweather and Pacquiao camps, and they accused him of PEDs because nobody could believe that he went from 108 up to 154. It's like, how can you do that? So Floyd's saying, well, it's got to be, right?
And when he fought at 154, Skip, remind you now, he only weighed 144. So he was basically 10 pounds, basically under the weight. But he wiped it out.
Man.
He wiped it out. He wiped the divisions out.
He did. And
Floyd, the roughest fight you ever had, who was it?
The best fighter I ever fought probably was Manny Pacquiao. Because of his movement.
But you made it look easy.
But he's a hell of a fighter, and I can see why he won so many fights, and I can see why he's going down as a Hall of Famer. It's just certain moves that he make.
Being a champion at 112 pounds and is now the legitimate champion at 140 and just beat either the best or the second best welterweight in the world.
Incredibly, Manny, or Pac-Man as he's called, holds world champion titles in 7 weight divisions, from 105 pounds to 148. That's never been done before.
It is my time. This is one time and still champion by tomorrow night. Manny Pacquiao ain't doing nothing to me, baby.
Keith Durbin talking about you gonna crucify him and stuff like that, and he just
don't say that.
I mean, I know he likes to quote Bible verses, so I'll let you know he's getting crucified.
He said certain things like, I'm going to send Manny Pacquiao to retirement. I'm going to knock Manny Pacquiao out. I'm going to crucify Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, his family felt it. Oh, when I said I'm going to crucify the man, ooh, they said, ooh,
It's almost as if they had a crown of thorns on them themselves. They felt it.
Please welcome the longest current reigning welterweight champion, the hard-hitting, acclaimed, and undefeated WBA welterweight champion of the world, introducing Keith, one-time third
Thurman vowed to retire the Pac-Man, to destroy his legacy.
Nowhere is the anticipation for the big fight higher than Pacquiao's own hometown and home country of the Philippines.
Scheduled for 12. Look at the punches landed. 10 by Thurman so far. Pacquiao at 6.
It didn't take long for Manny to remind Thurman who he was.
And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch.
I would love to be the man that destroys Manny Pacquiao.
His legacy is often compared to the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
And here we see the Ali shuffle.
Both men used their incredible gifts to build up and give hope to those who felt hopeless. For them, every time Manny steps into the ring, it means more roads, hospitals, parks, schools.
A professional career that began in January of 1995 when Keith Thurman was 6 years old.
In his 24th year as a professional, he's 40 years old. What did we witness tonight, again against the guy who was previously undefeated?
In the literal fight of his life, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is undefeated.
Thurman's face is really starting to show the effects.
While it was his iron will that made him famous, it is his heart that makes him a legend.
Oh, good right uppercut by Manny. Oh, and a great right hand by Thurman. Time winding down here in round 7.
See what Pacquiao's doing right now is giving him different angles.
Seeing him beat Keith Thurman at 40 years old, like, damn, this guy's great.
Pacquiao defeated Thurman to become the oldest welterweight champion in boxing history.
In favor of the winner, boxing's pride of the Philippines, the ageless wonder, the one and only current WBA welterweight champion of the world, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao!
Okay, do you think one day you might be president?
It's hard to have a comment right now because it's that far away.
Hey Roy, so overall, Roy, what do you think of Manny Pacquiao and what he's done for the sport of boxing?
Manny Pacquiao's done brilliant things for the sport of boxing. He's helped keep boxing alive. He's gave boxing that hope. He's the energetic guy that came along at a great time when boxing really wasn't so energetic, but he made it interesting. You know, all the wars he had with the one man with Marquez's and the Marco Antonio Barreras. And, I mean, he fought them all, and he fought them all 2 and 3 times. So he kept it alive at the time when it was a little bit dead. So I'll take my hat off to Manny.
Okay. Plus, he won 8 titles in 8 different weight divisions. No boxer has ever accomplished that.
No boxer probably would ever accomplish that again because not many people can start at 106 and go all the way up to 154. So no other boxer will ever compete in over half the weight classes in boxing.
Where do you rank Manny of all fighters?
Well, of all fighters, he got to be in my top. He got to be written. He should be in the top 5 because of what his accomplishments. You know what I mean, his accomplishments put him in the top 5. Skill-wise, he probably be in your top 10, to maybe top 7. But with his accomplishments, you got to put him in the top 5. Nobody started at 106 and won a title at 154. It just don't happen.
All right. In your opinion, Roy, is he the all-time great Asian fighter?
Of course. By far, he's the all-time best Asian fighter ever. He go right there. Him and Bruce Lee go together.
Roy, speak about Manny. Do you see him being successful as a politician in the near future? Because right now he's a congressman right now.
I see Manny being successful in anything he does. Manny's a successful guy. He has a successful mind. I think anything he put his mind to, he can do. You know, this boxing thing is a wonderful thing. When boxing was just a way for him to show the sport and to show the talent, the gift God gave him. You understand me? So he's a better person outside of boxing than he even is inside of boxing.
All right, Roy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
50 victories, including 38 knockouts, with 3 defeats and 2 draws. From Kayumba, Sarangani Province, the former flyweight world champion, former super bantamweight world champion, former featherweight world champion, former super featherweight world champion, former lightweight world champion, former light welterweight world champion, and reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.
But Robert, how do you prepare for Manny Pacquiao? Because nobody's gonna spar just like
you can. You just have to be in great shape, be smart in the ring, and pick it up round by round. Pick it up round by round.
And how now?
Historically great fighter.
Good for you.
The only fighter to win 8 world titles. I mean, Skip, he started out boxing, he was 106 pounds, won a title at, I think, 112, and went all the way up to
108 first.
Went all the way up to 154.
It's impossible. It's just...
I don't believe, I feel very comfortable and said I don't believe we'll ever see that again, Skip.
We'll never see it again.
And it wasn't like he was fighting bums. When you go back and look at Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales and Oscar Larios and De La Hoya and Hatton and Cotto, Margarita, Mosley, Timothy Bradley, Mayweather, Skip. I mean, what do you got to say? He was a champion in 4 different decades.
Yep.
Fighter of the year. First ballot Hall of Fame. He's great. He fought everybody. Whenever. Yes. I can find nothing. And you can put him up there with anybody from Armstrong to Willie Pep, any of the greats you want us to mention. You got to mention Manny Pacquiao.
Mine. And yet, what I've always loved so much about Manny Pacquiao, why I gravitated to him from the start was he fought.
Yes.
He fought anybody, anytime, any place. He wasn't calculated about it. He just fought because that's what he was. He was a fighter by nature. He grew up I'm talking dirt poor in the Philippines as just a street urchin, just scratching and clawing for literally his next meal.
Correct.
He fought literally to eat, to stay alive.
Correct.
And he's not proud of some of the things he did because he was, it was a rough upbringing.
Right.
But he did have what I believe was a legit spiritual conversion. And this man is a good man. In fact, he's seen as a great man in the Philippines to the point that that little street urchin, that little tiny guy, is running for president. And I don't know his chances because I don't know Filipino politics.
You know, I respect it in the game. I don't know why I respect this guy, just because he's short, I think. But Pacquiao.
Oh, he's brilliant.
That motherfucker right there, that's probably one of the few fighters besides you, Muhammad Ali, all you guys, Hagler, and all those guys and stuff like that. That little fucker right there, I never seen that guy back away from anybody. Tall, short, he goes in there and says, fuck it, okay, great. And he's still doing it today, I don't know, 40 years old?
Close to 50.
Also has a case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Think about, by the way, I don't think he wins that argument. Sugar Ray Robinson is safely ensconced in that position. But Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb, Sam Langford, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, whoever else you want to mention, put Pacquiao's resume up to those guys. Bill James, the great baseball sabermetrician, had a way of ranking baseball players that I came across as a kid and thought, that's really smart. You have to rank them at their best and then also over the course of their careers. Because when you have that argument, are you talking about who accomplished the most or what heights did they reach? What peak did they reach? Take either for Pacquiao. Take his peak. Was it at 140 pounds when he obliterated Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, and then Oscar De La Hoya, though that was at 147? Was that Pacquiao's peak? Because remember, that's when the Mayweather-Pacquiao hype actually reached fever pitch. Oh my God, these are two of the best fighters we've ever seen. And they're both in their primes, in the same weight class at the same time. We have to see that fight. So Pacquiao's peak was just about as good as anyone in history. Now, I'd have favored Mayweather back then. He's the naturally larger fighter. And that's the point. When you talk about pound for pound, if a fighter moves up out of his natural weight class and can still compete with the best who ever did it, what does that mean about the quality of that fighter's prime, pound for pound? And then when you look at the career accomplishments, Pacquiao as a 40-year-old just beat, as I mentioned, the third best welterweight in the division, except really Pacquiao's the third best welterweight in the division. But do you realize he turned pro as a 16-year-old pro? Not even 5 feet tall, not even 100 pounds, and won his first lineal title a couple of years later as a flyweight. Didn't turn pro as a flyweight, won the lineal championship of the world, and then skipped up a couple weight classes and started tearing through divisions. Was a late-minute replacement against Lelo Ledwaba, who was considered a guy on the rise on pound-for-pound list, top 10 type, maybe a heavy favorite. Pacquiao destroyed him in such a way, we wondered, what could he do against Marco Antonio Barrera? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Barrera may be a little long in the tooth, but he's still one of the best ever. Pacquiao, what he did to Barrera was scary, the way he dominated Barrera. It's the kind of fight that I'll never forget watching. Oh my God, I've rarely seen a performance like that. Had a great series of fights with the still great Eric Morales. I mean, when you think about what Pacquiao did from flyweight to 154 pounds, from a teenager till 40 years old, and when you consider the heights he reached, you're talking about certainly one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time. I believe, considering the fact that he's a much naturally smaller fighter than Mayweather, a better pound-for-pound fighter than Floyd Mayweather, and actually a guy who has a case. Whether you think he'd win it or lose it, he has a case. He could submit his resume and say, I want consideration as the best fighter who's ever lived.